And I was already down here at first light checking it out because I wanted to see if my idea and the way I installed it worked. And this is why. This is the runoff from the state road, and all this debris right here would be in the pond. Now this was only a 2-inch rain event. What's up guys, Brad here from Piney Grove, and we are in a serious drought. April is typically a dry month in Florida, and this April has been no exception, but our pond is holding up amazingly well. I haven't done any true evaporation tests, like where you put a bucket of water in the pond and you keep the top of the water or the water at the top of the bucket even with the surface of the pond. And if all the loss is due to evaporation, then after a couple of days, then the water amount in the bucket will match the water amount in the pond. But I don't think I have to, because I have a marker out there that's set in about 30 pounds of concrete inside of a kitty litter tub. And it's got a piece of rebar in it and a PVC pipe. And I've done graduations of a foot in there. And it goes all the way up to 10 foot. And we're keeping the pond at 6 foot now during the drought. We don't want to waste any water or use more water than we have to keep the pond full. So we got fish in there. The fish are growing. Just, it's amazing how much the fish are growing. The catfish are easily twice as big as the fingerlings we put in there. But the pond will maintain right around 6 foot. And then after 4 or 5 days, it might go down an inch, and then we'll pump it overnight, pump water into it overnight from a well just to keep it at 6 foot. And taking the time and the money to renovate this pond has been money well spent. We spend almost every evening in those 2 chairs out there, feeding the fish, watching them feed. Bella goes out there swimming. So for all the people that asked, was this worth it? Was it worth the time and the money and the aggravation and the anxiety and all those other words? 100%. I'm going to put pen to paper and I'm going to do a video on this whole pond process over the last 8 years. And I'm going to give you guys a number. I'm not going to do it in this video because I'm not prepared for it. But at this point, just off the top of my head, we're probably still $20,000 away from what it would cost for a decent sized swimming pool. And to me, this pond is much more valuable, not only to our family, but also to the property and the property value than any swimming pool we ever could have put in. See, the water is a rich green bluish color. That is all well water in there. And because the liner is sodium bentonite, that sodium in the sodium bentonite helps to keep any kind of runoff, cloudiness down. But what we got to do today is do our best effort to keep the water looking like that. So we've concreted all the culverts going into the pond. So any water that comes from outside the pond, because it is a runoff pond, there's no natural spring feeding this pond. The only way it gets water is from the rain or from runoff from our land or our neighbor's land. It's pretty steep uphill behind the camera, and a lot of this here, to include alongside the road here, all drains into the pond. And it comes in through these culverts. I think they're 18-inch culverts, but we have some extra concrete from a concrete pour. So the concrete guys did this, and then Deb and I did an extension all the way down and into the water. And all of the culverts are like that. The culverts go all the way into the pond. And there's a lot more to do. I want to do a lot more for erosion control. We've spread a whole bunch of bales of hay out here. We've seeded it with brown top millet and also with bahia grass, which is our natural occurring grass here in Florida. And I want to get this bank as solidified or stabilized with that grass. 1,500 gallons to water this, and I water it once a week, hand water it all the way around this pond just to get those seeds to germinate, hoping for some rainfall. I'm going to get a hammer and chip some of this concrete off. What I want to do is make a template of that culvert, so then I can make a screen in here that will keep all this trash out of the pond. And then I can come down here with a leaf blower or something and blow this away or rake it out. But right now, you'll get, after a big rain with the runoff, you'll get a lot of these pine needles and trash and leaves and stuff in the pond, and it just doesn't look good. A lot of this residue is from a few years ago where we had bales of hay in a square, and then we lined them with some broken up pieces of sidewalk, just to kind of create a basin so that the water could settle a little bit before it went in the pond. But this has just been rough poured in here when they were cleaning out the concrete truck, and then they just kind of smoothed it with a shovel. I think that's enough to get a template. I can always extrapolate where this cardboard might not go down far enough. I think I'll take my knife and cut off the corners just to get me a little bit more precise. I'm just going to take the hammer, kind of hit it against the culvert here, and that way I'll get kind of a exact template of the size of this culvert, so I can plan my little filter screen on both the outside and the inside. You got most of it. Okay, now that we have the imprints on the cardboard, we're just going to mark it out and then cut the top end, and then use the top part here to extend the circle all the way around where I couldn't put an imprint. Once I get that done, I'm going to take it back down to the pond and make sure that it fits properly in the culvert. We're back at the pond to do a test fit, but you can see all this flotsam here. When this gets completely full and the pipe can't take it, or you get a bunch of trash here, it just rushes into the pond and brings all this stuff with it. I mean, it's literally a river through here. So my idea was to create the screen, and then my challenge was, how do I hold it here? Well, now what I think I'm going to do, I've got a lot of riprap and stuff around here, but I think I can dig out some of that, and I can just use this as a template to make my screen, and then actually use a square board and set it in there, and that'll hold itself in place just from the water pressure. We'll cut this board till it's just bigger than the opening, and that way I won't have to dig as much, because this one's much bigger. And then this will sit in here tight against the culvert, and I'm still trying to figure out if I need to put some kind of, you know, a 2x4 blocking cut to the circumference, or some stakes, maybe some stakes, some rebar stakes or something. That seems like the easy thing to do. Based on what I saw down there at the culvert, I'm going to do just a little bit of overlap here. It's about a ½ inch. We'll do the same thing down here. And then this does not have to be square. Like, I could cut these little ears off here to make it easier to put against the culvert, but I think I'm going to keep it square, and that way it'll lay up against there nicer. So now what we need to do is just kind of cut this to size. This first one is the template, so I'm trying to make sure that I account for everything. So I marked it as top here. I got my little cutout here about where I think it needs to be, and now I need to allow water to flow through here. So I'm thinking that I do a series of cuts without weakening the plywood. Now we're going to go ahead and just lay it out. I'm just going to kind of maintain the outline of this onto the plywood. Because remember, we're not trying to make a circle here. We're just trying to get this at the right, get those lines at the right place. If we start here in the center, let's go ahead and take out the center of the circle. I think a good way of doing that is just use the width of the actual square. Square up to the cut I just made. I think if you skip that and just do that all the way down, that should work. Cut out every other one. I've got them all marked off. I think I'm just going to plunge cut them with my DeWalt cordless here. That didn't go too bad. So we're going to finish it off with the jigsaw. Then we'll have all of these cut and ready for the screening. But that should last a while. It's not treated wood, so it's going to rot after a year or two, but that's going to do what I need, especially for that storm that's coming. So let me knock out 1, 2, 3 more, And then we'll show you what we're going to put over top of this. When we put this culvert in, we kind of bedded it in limestone rock, and limestone rock is kind of soft. So I've been chipping it away so I could get a nice square bottom for this. I'm going to have to chip some more though. If I cut off the corners of the plywood, it might sit down in there better or easier without a whole bunch of digging. So I might do both. I might dig a little bit more, or I will dig a little bit more, but I'm also gonna cut those corners off. All this stuff is packed in here, and it's been like this for years, and I want to disrupt as little of it as possible, kind of in that do no harm type of mode. And I think if I, go ahead and dig up and loosen up more of this limestone, that's not really gonna help me much. Just cut those corners off, and that will lay in there. So let's get that up to the shop, attach the screen, and then we'll bring it back here and put in the permanent install. I made 2 more, or at least I outlined 2 more for the other 2 culverts, and that way I don't have to redo all the patterns and the measuring. And I made them a little bit bigger than that one in case I have to adjust them for the other 2 culverts, but I think it's going to work about the same. And I remembered I bought this Arrow battery powered stapler, and it's got stainless steel staples in it already, so we're going to just staple this really good all the way around the circumference, and then we're going to hit it real close around these openings, and then we'll cut it so that it's round like the culvert is. There we go. That's not too bad. I see a few places where I got to put a few more staples in. I think I will on the bottom, double it up. Just tuck it up under here like this. I went ahead and put a hem all the way around it just because it made it look nicer, and I feel like it'll make it last longer. But that's what it looks like. This is where we cut it out for that piece of concrete and the bottom, so we didn't have to dig it down as low. This will face towards where the water is coming from, so it'll have lots of strength to keep that, keep this from bowing under the water pressure. And eventually this wood is just going to rot. Now it's more exposed and everything. I need to see if someone has a 3D printer, maybe print me one of these out of plastic or stamp one out of steel, and then put maybe some stainless steel grating or something on it. But I have confidence that this is going to last for several years. Let's go install it. I'm excited about this project because we've gotten very used to the pond looking that pretty blue-green color, and we've got a bunch of stuff like pond bacteria and algicide and that deep blue pond dye to make your pond really blue so that sun can't get in there and make algae. All that stuff we got from the pond guy. And we'll use it when we need to use it, but we'd rather not. We'd rather it be as natural as possible and not have any sort of trash in it. We know we're going to get runoff water. That's going to have nitrogen and stuff like that. But we don't need a bunch of pine needles in there or other organic matter in the pond. And I really think this is going to work. So stay tuned. There's going to be, lots of videos about our pond as we keep working on it. And we'll keep you updated on whether these things that we are doing are actually working. But you remember, we already test fitted this, so it's going to sit in there nice. And now I'm going to drive in 2 of these. I think they are 1/2-inch rebar. Now this will be the challenge, is there enough space down there to put this in with all those rocks and everything. But if I put these in deep enough, this should hold it tight up against there. I don't need this thing to be that solid. Okay, I got that past the screen there. Just don't want to rip it, have to redo that. I mean, it's a pretty tough screen. I don't think there's going to be a good chance of much stuff going behind it. I'll show you how tight it is, but that's up there. That's up there good. And it's removable, right? If this gets like totally filled with debris, you can come in here with a leaf blower, blow it out, and then pull that screen out and clean it off. Okay guys, that's it. I've got 2 more to do, so I'm gonna get on that, but you've already seen how it's built. If you have any questions, put them down below, but all we're trying to do is keep this pond that we have so much time and money invested in looking as nice as possible. But until next time, you all take care out there. And remember, life's short, tractor hard. Catch you on the next one. Well, thankfully, the rains came as predicted and as forecasted. So the pond isn't that deep, rich blue-green because it did get some wash from the bank and some sediments. But if you look, there are very little areas where there's anything floating on top of the pond. There's a little bit of debris right there, but otherwise the top of the pond is clean. And I was already down here at first light checking it out because I wanted to see if my idea and the way I installed it worked. So here's a little preview of this one. You can see the water level came up to there and the screens kept the debris from going in the pond. So to clean that, I'll just use this little brush here, brush that off, and when that dries, I'll blow that out of there so it won't clog up that screen again. But the big deal is over here, and I can see the water still draining. This is going to add some maintenance for sure, but it keeps the pond clean, and I'd rather do what I'm about to show you that I have to do rather than trying to skim all that debris off the pond. We got a little trickle of water flow into the pond in this culvert, but that water is pretty clean. And this is why. This is the runoff from the state road. It's sitting out there now, backed up, getting cleaned by the grass, and all this debris right here would be in the pond. In fact, here's a 1-foot pile that I cleaned out this morning. All this would be floating on the pond if I hadn't put those screens in. Now this was only a 2-inch rain event, so I'll have to do something different to pre-clean this water before it clogs the screen, because if we get like a big hurricane-sized rainfall, you know, you could be looking at 1 inch an hour, and then this would overflow and then go over top of this dam here and possibly wash it out. So I don't want to do that, but for these rains, like these 2-inch rains, this will work perfectly until I can get down in here and do a more permanent solution with concrete. But what I'd like to do is stop this debris back there, the big stuff, and just have the screen work on little stuff. I'll just take my brush here, clean that off, and I bet that water really starts flowing good. Much better. You can see it's flowing a lot faster now. So we're going to call that a wind, and now that's the end of the video.